All right, so we're right back on the NBA's top players of all time list. Top 60, if you've been keeping up, we're down to number 53. These next several gentlemen I want to talk about, most of them play the wing, either the small forward or the shooting guard. Some of the greatest that's ever played the game. We do got one point guard sprinkled in, and I'll get to him in just a minute. But I'm going to start off with the first wing, played shooting guard, a little bit of small forward, known as Tracy McGrady or T-Mac. T-Mac at number 53 is a 7-time All-Pro. He's a 7-time All-Star. T-Mac was the scoring champ, meaning he led the league in scoring and points per game in 2 separate seasons. During his heyday in Orlando and some of his time in Houston is where he really made his name, where he earned his Hall of Fame. And T-Mac is one of the greatest scorers of all time at about 6'8", 6'9". He had a lot of size at the 2-guard position, which made him a tough cover. Smooth game, good ball handling skills, smooth jump shot from everywhere on the floor, mid-range, 3. I mean, he could do it all. He was a high-volume scorer and at times a little inefficient. So, he was only shooting around mid-40% from the field, low 40s sometimes. But again, I mean, he led the league in scoring with like 32 one year and then like 28 another year. He was big time. He could get 50 on you in his sleep if he was really feeling it. T-Mac, biggest knock on him is he just didn't really produce up to the level of his regular season performances in the playoffs. He's going to be known for talking the trash against Detroit that year when they was up 3-1, only to lose that series, and just really not being the T-Mac we know in the regular season, not being that guy in the postseason. Most people these days talk about James Harden not showing up in the postseason. I think if you go back and look at T-Mac, you would say he underperformed even more. We just don't talk about it as much. But T-Mac, again, highly skilled player, one of the greatest that's ever played the game, one of the best shooting guards ever. Another guy similar to him, as far as being around 6'8", played the small forward, Dominique Wilkins. Dominique was a All-Pro as well, about 6 or 7 times All-Pro. I believe he was a 9-time All-Star. Dominique, also known as the human highlight film, he only led the league in scoring 1 year, but that's because he was playing with Michael Jordan during the time of Michael Jordan. And Mike, as you know, won 10 scoring titles. Dominique was always right there between him and Karl Malone, 2 of the guys that got pretty much just outdone for a few scoring titles that in another era might have been theirs. Dominique averaged 30 multiple seasons, high 20s multiple seasons. He could get to the cup like none other, one of the best in-game dunkers of all time. I talked about Vince earlier on my list. Dominique, he was even more fierce when it came to his game, coming to the rack. I'm not saying he had quite Vince's hops, but it was pretty close. But the way he dunked it with authority, he was the type of dude that would dunk backwards on you. And he showed up in the playoffs. He just never had a lot of help on his team, but had some battles against Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and a bunch of other players. Everybody respected Dominique in his day and knew when you was playing the human highlight film, you better bring your game. Now, so that's number 53 and number 52. At number 51 on my list is the point guard I talked about, Gary Payton, the glove. One of, if not the best defender at the point guard position of all time. The glove was a defensive player of the year as a point guard. 9-time All-Pro on the defensive end, plus the offensive end. Two-way player before they had a name for it. He was All-Pro both sides. In his heyday playing for the Seattle Supersonics, he could get you around 22 to 24 points a game, 7 to 8 assists, 5 or 6 boards, and he locking up on D. And he talking smack to the best player on the other team. Gary Payton was that dude. Make sure you look him up if you don't know about the glove, one of the greatest point guards of all time, and number 51 on my list. Now, at number 50 on my list is none other than Reggie Miller. Now, Reggie Miller, when you look at his All-Pros and his All-Star appearances, he had about 5 All-Star appearances, a few All-Pro selections, or All-NBA, I should say, selections. But what made Miller time legit, Reggie Miller, was Miller time. Reggie was super clutch in the regular season and the postseason. Again, you knew when you came to Indiana or when Indiana showed up to play you, Reggie was going to make you work for it. His numbers in the regular season, only around the low 20s. He didn't get a lot of assists or a lot of boards, 2 or 3 a game. But in the biggest of moments, Reggie showed up and he led his team to the playoffs multiple seasons, got him to the championship. In 1998, was this close to stopping Jordan and the dominant Bull squad he was on at the time from getting to their 3rd championship in a row. Probably the best series Mike ever had in the Eastern Conference in terms of a threat to beat them was that Pacers team. And then again, Reggie made it to the title, like I said, playing against Shaq and Kobe. They was just outmanned. Reggie wasn't quite as good as he used to be at that point in his career. He was going against a young Kobe Bryant, who was probably just as good as him at that point in his career, plus Shaquille O'Neal, the best player in the world. So that made it tough. But Miller time, no joke, at number 50. At number 49, the last on this video, is George the Iceman Gervin. Another wing, around 6'7", smooth game, known for his finger roll action and how slick he was around the basket. A 4-time scoring champion. He won the scoring title 4 times in his career, and that's phenomenal. Only 2 or 3 other players in the league's history have done that. One of them, Michael Jordan, another Kevin Durant, Wilt Chamberlain, those type of people. George Gervin was getting you 30. He fall out the bed with 25. He was also a multiple-time All-Pro, 6-time All-Pro, All-Star 7 or 8 times. George Gervin was that dude, and before he was that dude in the NBA, he was that dude in the ABA. He was an All-Pro and an All-Star in the ABA in the 70s when some of the best players were playing in the ABA. Then he came to the NBA and showed out there too. So George Gervin, the Iceman, deserves his respect as well. Another small forward on this list, and number 49 on my list. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you looking for. JHEATsportsmedia. And I'm coming at y'all with that fire, as always. Make sure you subscribe, and you know where to find me. YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok.